Good afternoon, everyone. I'm audible, sir?
Yes, sir. You're
Okay,
audible.
sir.
My
Thank you.
voice is clear, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Deshpande.
Yes. Good afternoon. I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all on behalf of Maharashtra Tax Practitioner Association. Today's study circle meeting on 53rd GST Council meeting and the latest changes in GST. I request our dining president, Advocate Prasad Deshpande sir, please come on dais. I also request the study circle committee chairman and past president of our association, Mr. Navneet Lal Bora sir, please come on dais. I also request session chairman and past president of our association, Anil Vakharia sir, please come on dais. I immediate past president, CA Rajender Arora sir, please come on dais. And the vice president of our association, Advocate Anurul Sawan sir, please come on dais. Also, I request all the participants to welcome all the distinguished dignitaries on the dais and the today's faculty, CA Rajender Arora sir. Now, I request a member of our committee, Advocate Pranav Sheth sir, to introduce the session chairman, Anil Vakharia sir. Pranav sir, please.
Thank you, Dhaneshwarji. Good afternoon. Honorable President of our esteemed association, Advocate Prasadji Deshpande, Study Circle Committee Chairman and past President, Shri Navneet Lal Bora sir, IPP, CMA Shripad Bedarkar sir, office bearers, Galaxy of past President, seniors, today's faculty, Rajender Arora sir, and my brothers and sisters who are present here physically and join virtually. I am delighted to welcome you all to today's session. It is honor to introduce our esteemed chairman and our past president, Mr. Anil B. Vakharia sir, a distinguished professional in field of tax consultancy. Vakharia sir is a seasoned tax consultant specialized in GST, VAT, and Prevention of Money Laundering Act. With over 3 decades of experience, he begins his career with the reputed tax consulting firm Shantilal C. Shah before establishing his own practice in 1991. His expertise has benefited prestigious clients such as Tata, Birla, and various industries, including IT, pharmaceutical, chemical, and automobile. Vakharia sir has held several notable positions, including past president of the Maharashtra Tax Practitioner Association and managing committee member in Goods and Service Tax Practitioner Association of Maharashtra and the All India Federation of Tax Practitioners. He is also a member of key taxation committees and visiting faculty at prominent colleges. His achievements include the prestigious Ranka Trophy Award and numerous Best Paper Writer Awards. He has delivered over 100 acclaimed seminars and written extensively on VAT and tax laws. Beyond his professional work, Sir is dedicated to social causes, serving as a past president of Bharat Vikas Parishad, trustee of Jain Jagruti Mandal, and active participant in Jain Vadhuvar Parichay Sanstha for 39 years. Currently, Sir is a senior consultant at Vakharia Shah Associate, providing comprehensive tax audits. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Anil B. Vakharia sir as the chairman of today's study session with big round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pranav sir, for a nice introduction. I request our president, Advocate Prasad Deshpande sir, to felicitate session chairman Anil Vakharia sir. Thank you, sir. Now I request our today's session chairman Anil Vakharia sir to share his insights and thoughts on the latest changes in GST. Sir, please. अरोड़ा सर, आवाज आ रही है ना सही से? हेलो, यस सर, ओके सर,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is
Okay,
loud
sir.
and clear, sir.
ओके, थैंक यू सर.
My voice is clear, no, sir?
हाँ, आपकी भी आ रही है सर आवाज. गुड आफ्टरनून सर.
Pranam, sir.
प्रणाम प्रणाम. मुझे आज बहुत खुशी हो रही है सर कि मैं अरोरा सर का लेक्चर अटेंड कर पा रहा हूँ. राजेंद्र अरोरा जी मेरे फ्रेंड ही नहीं बल्कि छोटे भाई जैसे है, भाई ही है. अरोरा जी, मैं एज ए चेयरमैन ओपनिंग रिमार्क मैं ज्यादा कुछ नहीं बताऊंगा क्योंकि मुझे मालूम है कि एट द वेरी यंग एज आपने जो नॉलेज एक्वायर किया है, आपका जो स्टडी है, तो सब आपको ज्यादा सुनना चाहते हैं. और अगर कुछ बचता है तो मैं बाद में कुछ अगर ऐड कर पाता हूं तो मैं ऐड जरूर करूंगा. यहाँ पर जूम प्लेटफॉर्म पर जितने भी लोग अटेंड कर रहे हैं, बेसिकली मैं उनसे ये आपका एग्जाम्पल देना चाहता हूं कि ये जब से अभी ये 53rd काउंसिल मीटिंग के मिनट्स भी हमारे हाथ में नहीं आए, बल्कि प्रेस नोट हमारे हाथ में आई है, रेजोल्यूशंस जो भी पास किए गए, तब से नए नए कंसल्टेंट्स जो अपने फैकल्टी इसमें प्रोफेशन में आ रहे हैं, इनका इमीडिएटली रिस्पांस ऐसे आ जाता है एज इफ यू हैव रिसीव्ड द नोटिफिकेशन. और इसके लिए मैं आपको बधाई देना चाहता हूं कि आप जो स्टडी करते हैं कि लोगों को सबसे पहले तो हमको ये समझाना जरूरी है, जो काम आप बहुत दिनों से या मैं कहूंगा बहुत सालों से कर रहे हैं. आपके काफी सारे ग्रुप्स भी है, यूट्यूब्स पर भी मैंने आज ही सुबह आपको सुना. और बेसिकली हमको हमारे प्रोफेशन में आए हुए लोगों को ये समझाना जरूरी है कि प्रेस नोट आने के बाद नोटिफिकेशंस इशू होते हैं. नोटिफिकेशंस इशू होने के बाद हमको समझ में आता है कि एक्चुअली हमारे हाथ में क्या लग रहा है और क्या नहीं लग पा रहा है. क्योंकि जब से ये प्रेस नोट आया है तब से मैं देख रहा हूं जिन्होंने इंटरेस्ट भर दिया है वो बोल रहे हमको रिफंड मिलेगा क्या. अरे भाई, एमनेस्टी स्कीम में कभी कोई भी स्कीम में आज तक रिफंड मिला है क्या? तो ये बातें समझना बहुत जरूरी है. और जीएसटी काउंसिल का इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है, एक्चुअली आज का सब्जेक्ट जो है हम सब आपको सुनना चाहते हैं, लेकिन ये प्लेटफॉर्म मिला है तो मैं 5 मिनट ये बताना चाहता हूं सब लोगों को कि जीएसटी काउंसिल का अपने सीजीएसटी एक्ट में या आईजीएसटी एक्ट में हर जगह मेंशन किया हुआ है सेक्शन में, एज रिकमेंडेड बाय द जीएसटी काउंसिल. और जीएसटी काउंसिल क्यों आया? बिकॉज देयर हैज टू बी ए कंसेंसस बिटवीन ऑल दी स्टेट फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर्स. तभी जाकर ये सजेशंस जो है ये पार्लियामेंट को या असेंबली को जाते हैं, और तभी लोकसभा में से ये नोटिफिकेशन जो भी है वो पास होते हैं. और आपने एक बहुत अच्छी बात कही जो मैंने आज सुबह यूट्यूब पर सुनी कि 53rd काउंसिल मीटिंग हुई है, इसका मतलब 53 बार अमेंडमेंट्स आ चुके हैं, इसका मतलब 53 बार बजट आया है. ऐसा आपने एक वर्ड यूज किया था आज यूट्यूब. तो ये जो बातें हैं ये ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों को इसका फायदा मिले, ज्यादा से ज्यादा सिंप्लीफिकेशन हो. 17 में आया हुआ एक्ट है, नया एक्ट है, सिर्फ 6 से 7 साल हुए हैं. उसमें भी अपना जीएसटी एक्ट ये पूरी दुनिया से अलग है. बिकॉज ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड इन मोर देन 165 कंट्रीज जो भी जीएसटी एक्ट आया है वो एक ही एक्ट है. अपने यहाँ सीजीएसटी एक्ट अलग है, एसजीएसटी एक्ट अलग है, सेस अलग है, सब बातें अलग है. बिकॉज इट वॉज द नीड of the Constitution of India, and that is why our GST Act is totally different from other acts or other countries' GST Act. तो ये जो बातें हैं ये इसकी बेस लोगों को समझ में आनी चाहिए, जो कि काम अच्छा अच्छा तरीके से आप कर रहे हो। कमिंग टू दी हाइलाइट्स, जिसको आप डिटेल में समझाने वाले हो, दो तीन प्रोविजंस की खाली मैं बात करूंगा कि 1A जो आया है, बहुत ही वेलकम अमेंडमेंट्स ला रहे हैं वो लोग, कि हमारे जो भी गलतियां हो रही है GSTR 1 में भरते हुए, वी कैन करेक्ट इट बाय फाइलिंग 1A। देन TCS का जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉमर्स ऑपरेटर है, उनका 1% का 0.5% कर दिया है। 16.4 के बारे में बहुत लोगों में उत्साह है, उमंग है आपको सुनने के लिए, और वही मेन टॉपिक है आज का, तो हम सब आपको सुनना चाहेंगे। कैश लेजर में जो अमाउंट पड़ा है, जिसके लिए हम काफी झगड़ा कर रहे थे कि हमारा कैश लेजर में एक बार डिपॉजिट हुआ, तो दैट इज नॉट आवर मनी, इट इज द मनी ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट, तो इस पे भी इंटरेस्ट नहीं लगेगा, ये भी वेलकम प्रोविजन है। 73 के अंडर के इंटरेस्ट वो वेव कर रहे हैं, इसमें ही लोगों के व्हाट्सएप पर बहुत आ रहा है कि हमको रिफंड मिलेगा क्या, हमने तो भर दिया है, हमारा अपील में पेंडिंग है। तो इसमें आप थोड़ा 16.4 और ये इंटरेस्ट के बारे में आप थोड़ा डिटेल में समझाएंगे तो बेटर रहेगा। और बाकी डिपार्टमेंट के अपील्स के ये एक लिमिट जो है वो बढ़ा दिए, दैट इज ओके। ट्राइब्यूनल में अपील फाइल करने के लिए अभी तक नोटिफाई होने वाली है डेट, प्रोबेबली इट विल बी 5 अगस्त, उसके बाद 3 महीने लोगों को मिलने वाले हैं। और बाकी रिफंड ऑफ IGST, और एक वेलकम प्रोविजन जो है कि DRC 3 में भरा हुआ पैसा यू कैन दे कैन एडजस्ट इट एज अ प्री डिपॉजिट इन द अपील, दैट इज अ वेलकम प्रोविजन अगेन। सो इस बार के GST काउंट और बाकी रेट्स में भी काफी एग्जम्पशंस और रेट्स कम किए हैं, जिसके बारे में आप बताएंगे डिटेल में। सो ज्यादा वक्त ना लेते हुए मैं हमारे प्रेसिडेंट प्रशांत देशपांडे और पूरी कमिटी और ऑर्गेनाइजर्स के भी आभार मानता हूँ कि आपने मुझे ये मौका दिया है राजेंद्र जी को सुनने का, और इस सेशन का चेयरमैन बनाने के लिए सबका शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ। ऑल द माइक इज योर्स सर, थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable thoughts. Now I request Treasurer of our association, Kailash Kashid sir, to introduce today's faculty, CA Rajender Arora sir. Kashid sir, please.
Good afternoon. Honorable dignitaries on the dais, President Advocate Sripad Deshpande sir, IPP Sripad Bedarkar, Vice President Aniruddha Chavan sir, Past President Anil Vakharia sir, Past President Navneet Lal Bora sir, and Secretary Naneswar Naravade. I, Mr. Kailash Kashi, Treasurer of MTPA, stand here, and Committee Member of AIFP, stand here to introduce today's Study Circle Meeting Lecturer, CA Rajender Arora sir, from Delhi. On the subject, 53rd GST Council Meeting and latest changes in GST. CA Rajender Arora sir has completed CA in 2003 and since into practice exclusively in GST since 2017. Sir has got so many achievements. President of GST Research Foundation, elected to Executive Committee of AFPP North Zone, winner of TIOL 2022, Jury Award for GST Contribution in Economy for GST Literacy, runs a GST course through more than 2,500 participants. President, Association of Taxpayers and Professionals, Delhi States, member of Delhi STPA, AIFTP, BCAS, CGPI, model partner with Clear Tax, People Loving Our GST Guru, GST Chanakya of GST. Delivered lectures more than 1,500 in various seminars and webinars on GST of the country. Served as a secretary, treasurer, and NICASA chairman in 2 times. Consecutive terms as a member of NIRC of ICAI. Twice served as chairman GST committee of NIRC of ICAI. Written numerous articles on taxman, tax guru, and GST board. Last but not least, recently, sir, a video lecture in International RRC of AIFTP at Bhutan. Give him a grand welcome with thank you to the MTPA and the organizing committee for giving me an opportunity to introduce such a versatile personality like CA Rajender Arora. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kashif sir, for giving the wonderful introduction of today's faculty, CA Rajender Arora sir. Now I request our President, Advocate Prasad Deshpande sir, please felicitate Rajender Arora sir, virtual felicitation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, please accept.
Thank you,
sir.
Vakharia sahab. Thank you, Vakharia sahab. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आभार.
Thank you, sir.
So finally,
sir, I'm sure your guidance will help us a lot in understanding the latest changes in GST. Let's get ready for an enlightening session. Without wasting time, I request CA Rajender Arora sir to start his lecture. Over to you, sir. Arora sir, please.
Thank you. So finally, the virtual love is in place. Isn't it, Vakharia sahab?
Sorry, sir.
Yeah. मैंने कहा फाइनली वर्चुअल लव तो आ गया है. Thank you, sir. Thank you, MPPA, the President Saab, all the office bearers, the entire team of the vibrant, energetic team of Maharashtra Tax Practitioners Association, with whom I am also a proud member. And thank you very much, Vakharia sir. Vakharia sir, we have a template which is circulated. They use the only picture of yours, sir. जगह की फोटो आई थी सर आपकी. और इसमें का पार्ट जो है ज्यादा हैंडसम लग रहा है. मेरी वॉइस आ रही है? People are saying voice is not clear.
सर आपका वॉइस ब्रेक हो रहा है सर.
ब्रेक हो रहा है. जस्ट अ सेकंड.
अब देखिए जरा आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ आ रही है सर अभी.
It is better now?
Yes sir, yes, it's better now sir. Much better.
Wonderful.
Thank you sir.
ठीक. डाइस की फोटो बंद कर दी आपने.
Yes.
सर हम आ गए नीचे.
चलिए. Right. So yes, it is a proud privilege of mine. In fact, Vakharia sir, it is the other way around. I am deeply honored to be with you in this program to share dice with you and all the other dignitaries of prestigious MTPA. My chairman, Vakharia sir, has already set the tone, and he has paved the way for us to understand that what all recommendations which have been proposed by the council in its 53rd meeting held at Delhi on 22nd June. Friends, as Vakharia sir was telling us, guiding us, that the proposals which have been made by the council are merely proposals. First of all, let's understand. Although the constitution has guided, has directed to constitute the council in such a manner, having all the finance ministers as its members and chaired by the union finance minister, it is designed in such a manner that whatever is proposed by the council, it is recommended by the council. By and large, it is being adopted by the government through its board, that is Central Board of Indirect Tax and Custom, and accepted as such. So, but there were
few exceptions jahan par we found that the council has proposed something, but that did not happen. One of such exceptions which is reminded to me is about the interest, section 50 subsection 1. Earlier, the interest was to be charged on the gross tax, and during the chairmanship of Honorable Minister CA Goyal ji, this was proposed, but it could not be implemented. Otherwise, there is no such instance which I could recall where the proposals have been made by the councils and it has not been implemented. But these are merely proposals. Let's be very clear about it. And this will be implemented through various other schemes. And those schemes have to be either brought into the main body of the law through enactment or through other notifications. But it has to come out with a enforcement of law. And the council meetings timing is very, very appropriate at this moment. The parliament is in its session, special session. The full budget will be presented soon, and it will be approved also within very few days by the Honorable President of the country as well. Now, the proposals which have been made in this council, 53rd council meeting, some of the proposals are required to be rooted. Listen to me very carefully. Whatever I am going to tell you is either through the law or through the jurisprudence. So each and every word would carry a value, and it would enable you to understand how the process flows, how it works. Now, there are few, let me tell you, there are exactly 49 proposals which have been made by the council. Out of these 49, few are to be rooted through Act, CGST Act. And that CGST Act amendment has to go through the parliament route, and parliament is in place. So very soon in budget session itself, you will find the CGST Amendment Act 2024 by way of Finance Act 2024 will come into place and will bring all those changes which are required to be rooted through the parliament. Other rate revisions or other, I would say, some more schemes which are required to be like DRC, what Bakharia sir was telling us, DRC 03 wala issue, and some of the other issues, rather majority of the other issues will be implemented through notifications only. Just a second. So majority of these things will be implemented through notifications only. Few of them would be routing through Act. Now, okay. So till the time the notifications do not come, till the time proposals in the law do not come and are being implemented, the notification, whenever a notification is issued, the date of application or the date of implementation of the notification by and large is also mentioned in the notification itself. But whenever there would be a change in the act, it has to get the presidential assent. The moment it is officially gazetted and becomes the Finance Act 24, then only those proposals will be, or maybe if the law says some proposals may be implemented from future date also, what we have seen in past, what we have witnessed in past. Now, let's talk about the major proposals which have been made by the GST Council in its 53rd meeting. Friends, in this meeting, we have found that the Council was kind enough, the Council was adaptive enough to bring various relief measures for the trade and industry at large. And for that, the Council and the Government 3.0 deserves a great amount of appreciation and kudos, because the way this this government has actually gone to implement or achieve one of its manifesto's agenda, in which they said that the government is duty bound to reduce litigation in the country, and they are going to come out with some specific policies to reduce the litigation in the country and reduce the burden of these cases on the judiciary of the country, and give relief immediately. Khatakat, khatakat, khatakat. Relief immediately. So these, I believe the government has stood on its promise through its manifesto and already started. We can safely assume that they have already started doing or implementing their agenda. Now they have proposed some of the changes in rate of goods. I will go in sequence only. I will go in sequence only and will not pick different items randomly, but I will go in sequence only. So there are rate changes proposals. One of them, although the majority of the rates have been changed or altered for, I would say, in case of goods, in case of services specifically, these are relating to railways. In case of goods, major rate changes are there for some import goods which are imported for manufacturing defense equipment indigenously, which is very important, my dear friends. At present today, the government has an agenda of by 2030 to make our defense sector net exporter sector. We are not going to import. We may be importing something, but net exporter. We are going to have big way. Recently, the government has given a contract of 45,000 crores to its indigenously manufacturing defense equipment manufacturing companies to buy products from defense equipments from them only. So you will see times to come very soon that the government or the country is going to be by 2030, next 5 years target, 6 years target, that it is going to be net exporter in defense sector. So some of those items, specified items are going to be, the IGST has to be, is proposed to be exempted on those defense equipment. One important thing which is going to impact the entire economy by the rate change is the rate of corrugated and non-corrugated. At present 18%, the proposal is to make it 12%. So this is because majority of, in fact, all the industries, especially in goods, all the industries in some way or the other use those corrugated or non-corrugated paper board for packing material to be used in the industry. So in that way, eventually for those industries for which the packing material is going to be the cost, at least for those 6% cost is going to be reduced. So otherwise, the rate of tax is also going to be reduced from 18 to 12%. Another important thing which I feel the government is thinking on those lines is about iron, steel, and aluminium, all milk cans. Let me tell you one more thing, very interesting thing, friends. Now, the change of rate should not be read in isolation. Whatever I will be discussing, I will be giving you the background of change. I will be giving you the background for which the change is proposed by the government. And that way you will be able to link better the proposed change, the background, and the future ahead. In fact, the share market is also affected with this, going to be affected largely in times to come. So these all milk cans are going to attract 12% instead of 18%. These are the steel, iron, and aluminum cans which are to be used for galvanizing the steel and other iron and steel. Now, my dear friends, again, the government has two major agendas. One is Pradhan Mantri Garib Awas Yojana and another is Rashtriya Rajmarg Yojana. इन दोनों योजनाओं में, इन both of these policies, schemes, the government is going to use a huge quantity of iron and steel. And that way, again, the costing is going to be reduced for the government to produce. The government is very keen to achieve the agendas of the manifestos, and thereby they are reducing the costing of the government as well as giving boost to iron and steel industry. And this way, overall infrastructure will be supported in the country. Development of overall infrastructure in the country will be supported. So some way or the other, I feel this 53rd council meeting in a way is actually a booster dose to the economy. I'll come more to it. I'll establish more of my claim by the time I'll advance into my discussions. Okay. And again, defense equipments are there. In case of services, the rate changes are proposed. One such rate change is proposed in case of services provided by the railways. Like platform tickets are going to be cheaper now because the rate of tax is reduced. Like a waiting room fees, per hourly fees, which is charged by the railways from their commuters, is going to be reduced because the GST is going to be reduced. Clock room services, like battery operator car services, intra-railway transactions are also going to be exempted and going to give boost to the railways so that to enhance its operations. Again, road and rail is the heartbeat of the economy. Bukharia sahab, I said this statement yesterday also when I was speaking on the national news, that there was a statement, there was a phrase, there is a phrase which is commonly used in America, that whether America made roads or roads made America. My dear friends, both ways it is correct. Both ways it is correct. So in India also, in Bharat also, you need to see this in times to come, that when Bharat will make roads, roads will make Bharat. That is for sure, it is going to happen. So in a way, road and rail both is the lifeline, is the heartbeat of the country. So that is one another thing. Another interesting aspect in case of rate of change in rate of services. At present, where the hostel services are provided within the education itself, within the periphery of the education institution. My voice is clear? A message was shown to me that internet is unstable. My voice is clear? Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, friends. Renu Sharma madam, perfect. Thank you. Okay. Another interesting change in case of education industry is that within the periphery of the educational institution, if a hostel is run, the hostel is exempted. The services provided by the hostel to are exempt. But outside the periphery, outside the radius of the education institution, if an hostel is run independently without providing education services, it was taxable at 18%, like renting of immobile property services. Now the government has come out with a wonderful proposal. The entire education industry, whether it is in Kota, whether it is in Ganganagar, whether it is in Delhi, whether it is in other parts of the country, Jaipur, Sikar for that matter, all other parts of the country where the hostel industry is very much in place. The people were charging 18% tax to the students, or they were bearing from their own pocket, and the cost of hostel services were becoming dearer, expensive to the students who are into their education. Now the government has proposed that if hostel services are provided to students, it is not written as such students. If hostel services are provided, accommodation services are provided, it is not either written hostel services. Although when a new entry in exemption notification will come, we will again have a program, and then we will decipher the word by word exemption entry which would be provided in the notification. But at present, what is being proposed to my humble view, that if the accommodation services are provided by a hostel to its students, up to where the value is 20,000 rupees per student per provided. First condition is up to 20,000 rupees per student per month, per person per month. Another condition which would be attached, that at least up to continuous period of 90 days, the stay should be there. Like if a student is staying for at least 90 days, continuous period of 90 days, then only the exemption will be provided. This is not like that hotels are, they start charging 20,000 rupees per month per person, and you take per one room for rent and you take exemption. No, continuous period of 90 days. So it is largely, it would benefit not only students, but those people, those sales and marketing people also, who stay for months in a particular place. So I'll, like Vakharia Saab gave the word of caution. We have to see the exact entry. Then only we'll be able to comment what is going to be covered and what is not going to be covered. But at present, what we can visualize by way of our own understanding, by way of looking at the press release, that this is going to come. Okay. Now, another changes with respect to services, many, at least 7-8 changes have been proposed for insurance sector. Again, my dear friends, insurance, reinsurance, the exemption, rate reduction, the previous difficulties, as is, where is basis, all these things are going to be settled. The previous disputes in the insurance sector are also going to be settled with these proposals. Now, again, you can see that at least 7-8 proposals have been made for insurance sector. What is the objective? Objective is, again, my dear friends, to give boost to the insurance sector. My dear friends, every economy which wishes to be developed economy has to put focus on service sector, that is called tertiary sector of the economy. And here also, although we are going to be the next manufacturing hub for the world, and it is already started, you have already started evidencing that multiple activities are doing. The other day I was listening that one Chinese chip manufacturing company, which is in India, which is into mobiles also, Tata has bought stakes into that particular company, wherein the Tata is going to manufacture chips for its mobiles and the cars also. Therefore, you will find, and in insurance sector also, till there was a report around 8 months back, which says that only 8% people in India are insured. Can you imagine 92%, the population who is uninsured in the country, the kind of potential for the sector, the kind of potential for the security of the public, security of the citizens of the country is tremendous, is unparalleled. Therefore, the government also wants to give support to the insurance sector and iron out the creases, the difficulties, the disputes which have arisen into the insurance sector. I'm not going into those minute details. Moving ahead. Now, of course, my dear friends, GST is a fiscal statute, is an indirect tax statute, which is linked with the economic activities. Unless we do not understand the economy at large, we will not be able to appreciate. Even in the court of laws, we have to understand the background for bringing a particular provision, the purpose, the mischief the government wishes to plug through that provision. Then only the courts are also being assisted efficiently to reach to the real objective, the purposive interpretation of the subject. Therefore, we as professionals also must learn to understand the subject in holistic view. Therefore, today also I'm trying to do a bit and to make each and every entry, the proposal which is there by the council, linked with the larger perspective of the economy. Okay. Moving ahead, another now measures for facilitation of trade, part B. Here till now we have discussed around 21 proposals. Some of the rate changes, like 8-9 proposals are there in the insurance sector also. Now we are going to discuss remaining 28 proposals out of total 49 proposals which are made in this 53rd Council. Now friends, one very important new section is going to come. That is section 128 capital A under offences and penalties chapter. That offences and penalties chapter, the new section which is going to talk about, which is talk of the town also. Two things are talk of the town. One is waiver of interest and penalties of section 73 notices, and another is section 16(4). These two are the talk of the towns, and the people are in really joyous situation, finding that this litigation, the huge burden of interest and penalty, the huge burden of tax in the form of disallowance for 16(4) is being taken away by the government. And I can visualize that by merely these two provisions, at least 1,50,000 crore of revenue is foregone by the government. Kudos, wonderful. I must appreciate the kind of gesture which is expressed by the government, and we criticize the government also. But when the government comes out with the sensitive issues like this, and they give relief at large like this, we must, with open heart, appreciate the government and tell them that yes, we are very happy to see that you are listening to our concerns. You are actually trying to save the industries, the MSMEs, and thereby actually trying to support, handhold them to stay alive and contribute to the nation building and make this nation 5 trillion economy next 3 years. So this is something which is very good and we must appreciate. Another subject, another important proposal is section 73 wala proposal. Section 128 capital A is going to be proposed under the chapter offences and penalties, whereby the government has proposed, the council has proposed that for 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, stop. Till for these 3 years only, we are going to propose that wherever demand notices have been issued, if it is now, if we go by the language of this particular press release, demand notices have been issued. Demand notices, if a show cause is issued, that is not a demand notice, let me tell you. Demand notice is in the form of DRC 7 only. If the demand notice has been issued under section 73, in that case, if the tax, the full amount of tax is paid by 31st March 25, then interest and penalty shall be waived. Now, if Vakharia Sahab has directed me to reply to the question whether the interest penalty already paid will be refunded back before the introduction of this press release, the 22nd June, the council meeting. Just a second, sir. Abhi, I am not taking questions. Please allow me to conclude this, and last 15 minutes we will dedicate to your questions. You may note down it, please, and then we will answer it, sir. Sir, now whether interest and penalty already paid,
yes,
by...
We have the question answer session at the end of the lectures.
Sir, I could not hear you. Hello?
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, did you say something?
Yes, sir. The question answer session, we have the question answer session at the end of the lectures.
Perfect, sir. Perfect. So, interest and penalty already paid. To my humble view, there is not going to be any scheme or any covenant in the scheme whereby you will be refunded with the already paid and interest and penalty. It is not possible. We have not seen such situations ever in past, not in GST, but earlier also. Whatever is once paid cannot be refunded back. It does not mean that the people who are compliant enough it doesn't mean that the people who are compliant enough are being penalized. No, sir, it is not like this. Country of 140 crore people, where 1 crore 75 lakh taxpayers are there. It is difficult to manage. It is difficult to match the expectations of each and everyone. I'm not here to advocate anybody. I'm here to advocate whosoever pays me. Government has not yet started. But friends, here the difficulty is that the scheme cannot be designed in this particular manner. And whosoever, whether it is a show cause notice for 1920, which is still into the process of adjudication, the very much would be falling for the relief. Already the adjudicated 17, 18, 18, 19 notices, demand created by DRC 7 would be falling. Whether you have filed appeal or not, to my humble view, you would be falling for this particular amnesty scheme, which, of course, this is not going to be, law is to be amended. Section 128 capital A is going to be introduced by the parliamentarians. But another scheme, a detailed scheme for which a separate circular or maybe a notification will be issued to explain the modus operandi, the way it is to be implemented, will certainly come out. So this is one part wherein also people have started asking whether 74 notices, what is wrong with them? Friends, I always say that we should read the law as it is. If the law says 73 notices, so 74 notices would not fall it. But yes, I would say I have been seeing in past 8-9 months, since the time we are getting show cause notices from the state authorities adjudicated, we have seen that 74 notices are also being issued by the authorities without being able to prove the allegation of fraud. They are not able to substantiate that there was a fraud element. There was a willful misstatement, willful concealment. Suppression, not concealment, but suppression. So they are not able to prove it, demonstrate through by way of show cause notice, but they have issued notices under Section 74. So I would have said to the government that if you are giving amnesty, but because it is difficult to differentiate between such notices and genuinely fraud notices, therefore the government did not come out within 74 also into this amnesty, which is quite, I would say, understandable on their part. How would I be if I would have been the finance minister, revenue secretary? I also would have thought, how would I differentiate that this is genuine notice of 74 and this is like now yesterday I was at Sri Ganganagar. There was a member who was telling me that a notice was under Section 73 issued for 17-18 on 31st December 23, and I replied that the notice is time barred. Then thereafter for 17-18, they issued me a notice under Section 74 to cover up their tracks. Now that particular notice does not cover any allegation. Or more importantly, for a same issue, you have issued me a notice under Section 73 and now 74. This is change of opinion. And merely change of opinion cannot warrant a situation where fraud is alleged to me. Fraud is alleged with some incriminating material available in the possession of the proper officer, which is obtained after issuance of 73 notice. Then only 74 notice can be issued. But unfortunately, in order to cover its tracks, only the government, the department issued 74. Now, such notice is actually falling into 73, but just to match up the time limit provided in the law, he issued in 74. But it is very difficult for the government for blanketly creating a limit to bring every such notice under 74 and in this amnesty. So sometimes it happens. When you have to manage, when you have to adjudicate, you have to rule. You have to rule for the masses. You cannot please everyone. Even in a family of 4, you cannot please everyone. So this is a difficulty. We must appreciate the difficulty of the administrator. Okay. Next interesting, sir, what my chairman, Vakharia sir, was also guiding us about the litigation. As I said, the government has expressed its clear intention of reducing the litigation in the country in GST regime. They have proposed that if the demand is up to 20 lakhs at appellate level, we shall not go to the tribunal. If the demand is up to 20 lakh of tax is 20 lakhs at the appellate level, we will not go to the tribunal. If the demand is up to 1 crore at tribunal level, we will not go to the high court. If the demand is up to 2 crores at high court, we will not go to the Supreme Court. That is a welcome step once again. It ensures that there is a certainty to litigation. If a taxpayer goes into litigation, it does not have certainty till even the constitutional bench, the larger bench of the Supreme Court. There are multiple judgments which have been filed by the department to the larger bench of the Supreme Court. So there is no certainty to the litigation, or very less certainty to the litigation. This way, the government is bringing that, infusing the confidence of the taxpayer, the industry. Okay, up to this, I'll not fight with you. I'll not go ahead of this. That is a welcome step. That is a positive thinking on the part of the government. Appreciate it. Another thing with respect to the pre-deposit part, we have seen in past in our good offices only that crores and crores of rupees are due for pre-deposit. Till appellate authority, 10% of the disputed tax is to be deposited as pre-deposit. Till tribunal, 20% of the additional 20%, in addition to what paid in at appellate level, additional 20% is required to be paid by the taxpayer, the litigant, of the disputed amount for filing an appeal. Now that's 20% is reduced to 10% only. Now 10% at appellate level under 107 and 10% at tribunal level. And now the total makes it 30, but now it is reduced to 20. And the maximum limit also was 25 CR, CGST and SDST. Now that 25 CR limit is also reduced to 20 CR. If I have a demand of 500 crores, so 10% makes it 50 crores. So I would have to pay 50 crore. Now I don't have to pay 50 crore. I will be requiring to pay maximum of 20 crore only. 40 crore only. So 10 crores of working capital saved with the taxpayer, with the industry. So that is also a welcome step. Next change is with respect to a kind of alcohol, kind of extra neutral alcohol, which is used in producing, in manufacturing of alcohol or liquor for human consumption, alcoholic liquor for human consumption. That also is going to be, now the rate is it is going to be exempted. Of course, it is used in various medicines also. So that way also, alcoholic liquor for human consumption is used in various medicines also, and that way it will, I would say, reduce the cost of medicinal manufacturing, and maybe, in an indirect way helping the industry to have a better breathing space. Okay. Next proposal which is made is with respect to, like my chairman was telling us, that in case of tax collection at source, TCS, earlier when e-commerce operator, e-commerce operator platform used to collect TCS on the supplies made by a taxpayer through it at the rate of 1% of the value. Now that is reduced to 0.5% of the value, bifurcated into 0.25C, 0.25S. This is another welcome change which would reduce my working capital, blocked with the, I would say, these type of changes we witnessed during COVID, wherein the government was keen to reduce the blockage of working capital in the form of taxes. Like TDS rate, income tax TDS rates were also being reduced largely. 5% wala 3%, 10% wala 5%. Largely rates were reduced during those times. So this is again thought process moving toward that direction only. Another, I'm going sequentially, sir. I'm going sequentially what is being proposed in the council meeting. Another change which is proposed, although now you would find me a little being critic of the administrator, 72 months on 1st July next month, coming month, 72 months would pass of the introduction of the subject. And we did not see the tribunals coming into place. My dear friends, if a particular economy is not able, administrator is not able to provide, for whatever reason, 72 months are far-fetched. If a particular administrator is not able to provide a justice delivery system in one of the largest economy, fifth economy of the world, a justice delivery system in fiscal statute, it is unfortunate. It is not a good sign. Internationally also, the people are not taking it in a good spirit, that there is no justice delivery system. The tribunals are not there. Our Indian high courts are overburdened with small, petty matters of writs through extraterritorial under Article 226 of the Constitution. I don't think so there is need for it. I think our courts are doing wonderful. Our judiciary is doing a wonderful job by interpreting the key matters, the critical issues of the subject. They should not be overburdened with these small, petty, insignificant matters. I would not say that tribunals are meant for insignificant matters, but tribunals are basically final fact-finding authorities. You understand the process of this judicial system. First is adjudicating authority. Then we have the appellate authority, who is of course the government officer only. Now we have an appellate tribunal, which is an independent tribunal constituted under the law. And on that tribunal, on that bench, the various stakeholders come together and listen to a particular matter, and they go extensive. Like in past, we have seen the GST tribunal, the Excise and Service Tax GSTAT, have done a wonderful job. Income Tax Tribunal is doing a marvelous, amazing job by way of justice delivery. And when you do not, the people say that, okay, it's no problem. We will find this justice at the tribunal level. We will obtain this justice. This is what normally people say in income tax. This is what people used to say in services in excise. Because this is a final fact-finding authority. And when the matter now directly goes from the adjudicating level to the High Court only deals with the question of law. And now they are dealing with the petty matter of registration. That the principle of natural justice is not being followed, the opportunity of being heard is not given, my reply is not considered. How can you expect the honorable high courts of this country to deal with such matters? For that, the lower courts like tribunals should have come into place much ahead, much before in time. Now is the high time, my dear friends. The government should take the cognizance of the fact. Again, on 6th May 2024, earlier they came out with the one removal of difficulty order, wherein they said that the time limit for all the appeals which are to be filed with the tribunals are in abeyance. Because by way of removal of difficulty order, the government said that we will tell you when to file the appeal with the tribunal. And the time was given 3 months from the date when the president assumes the office at the national bench. And 6th May 24 is the date when the president assumed the office in the national bench. Honorable Justice, High Court. So, Madam came out, Finance Minister Ma'am came out on the press conference and said that although the 5th August is the last date to file the appeal to the tribunals, but we will come out with the date when would it be considered the last date to file. Now you can see that another 3 months or 4 months time, at least 3 months time is going to be allowed to the taxpayers for filing appeal. But I would suggest start preparing your matter. Start preparing your case to file before the tribunals. Do not wait for the last date. Although 3 months time, sufficient time from the date of notification, at least 3 months time will be given. Don't worry for that, that you will not be asked to go for 15 days time and then apply for tribunal. No, it is not going to happen. Now, next change, which we all have actually celebrated, appreciated a lot for past 3-4 days. That is with respect to 16.4. Now, my dear friends, 16.4, again, what we have estimated, around 90,000 crore rupees was stuck in this 16.4 matter. The government, the constitutional validity is already upheld by various, at least 4-5 high courts of the country. It is pending with the constitutional bench of the Honorable Supreme Court. Government has not touched anything with regard to the constitutional validity. By way of this proposal, they have not said that constitutionally it is not valid. They have given us an amnesty, a relief, a temporary relief for first initial years of the introduction of the law. That, okay, we understand. You must have felt problems in taking credits. You must have left out with taking credits. You must have could not file your returns in time because of various reasons. Okay, we are giving you relief for first few years. 17-18, 18-19, 19-20 and 20-21. These are the 4 years. In 73, only till 19-20. Now here it is 20-21 also. This is the difference. So 16.4 till 20-21. There are the 3 proposals which I will be taking all together at one place. What are those 3 proposals? First, if you have forgotten to take an input tax credit of an invoice or a debit note by way of a 3B for 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20 and 2021, and you take that credit by way of 3B till 30th November 21. 30th November 21, if you have taken that credit for all these 4 years by way of 3B, then it is deemed to have been understood that it is a valid credit. Now again, for this matter, the government has to go to the parliament by way of amendment in section 16.4. The way it was, there was a proviso inserted for 17-18, wherein the time limit was provided extended till 31st March 2019. Similarly, for these first 4 years, the time limit to provide, although M. Trade Links Honorable Madras High Court recently said that financial year 2023, 16.4 is amended. The time limit to take the credit was extended to 30th November of the next year succeeding to the financial year. In M. Trade Links, Honorable Madras High Court said this 30th November should be taken as retrospectively and for all earlier years also, not only from financial year 22-23. You can see one thing, friends. I have always been saying that any relief measure cannot be prospective. Relief measure would always be retrospective. In all these times, every time whenever it reaches to the court, Honorable Court has always been pleased by saying that it should be retrospective. A relief measure. The court in AM Trade Links also again said that it should be retrospectively from the very beginning of the law, 1st July 17. And the government has taken the cognizance. I would again appreciate the government, the administrator, by giving this relief. Because, sir, this is a procedural lapse. This is a small lapse. Although I am not challenging the authority of the government to put this condition. I am very much within those boundaries that yes, government has a constitutional power to put this condition on the input tax credit, the limitation of time, that up to this time only you can take the credit. But yes, it is a very good thing. We have always been saying, okay, don't touch the constitutional validity. We are not asking you to do that. Just extend the timeline for initial years. And they have done so. Very nice. Now, first part is again going to be amended through Act 16.4. Another second part, this also, I have been speaking at various platforms, especially when I used to talk about input tax credit only. There are two judgments already of Rajasthan and Gujarat High Court, which says, listen to me carefully, which says, again, I am telling you each and every background of each and every proposal. Every proposal has a background. And that's what I always tell my students who take my other courses and classes, that when you stay with the subject stays in you. When you be the witness of the changes happening in the subject, you become the change yourself. So that is the way one must lead with anything in this life. Okay, now another change, like we were talking about the two High Court judgments, Rajasthan and Gujarat High Court judgment, in which honorable courts said that if your number is cancelled and it remained cancelled for 2 years and you got it revocated, reopened, your cancellation is revocated 2 years later. Now you are asked to file your 3B. The output tax is due payable with interest. But what about the input tax credit? That input tax credit is gone. That gone in 16.4's clutches. The court said no. The registration was inactive at that point. Now the registration is got activated from retrospective date only, not from today. And if it is activated from retrospective date, the right to avail the credit as per 16.4 time limit does not expire, because I have gone past in time and enabled myself, captured my right in past in time and taken the credit. Although the interest, late fee, everything is applicable. So similarly, in those High Court judgments, courts were pleased to give this relief. And whenever I used to discuss input tax credit, I always tell, if you have this particular issue, go to your jurisdictional court, you will get the relief. And the government came out with it. You can see my videos. Majority of things are there online and with the public domain. And there is saach ko koi aach nahi. But there is one problem also. Whenever I speak things, government listen otherwise also. मैं कोई चीज बता देता हूँ that there is a room for this planning, room for this thing. Government considers that also. I don't know from where they hear to it, to what ears they have planted besides me. I really don't know. Anyways, so the government has proposed in the 16.4 that if your number was cancelled and you got it revocated and you filed within 30 days of order of revocation, all the returns, all the जो भी return pending है, then you will be outside the preview of this limitation of 16.4. You would be allowed to take credit of past years also. Are you getting my point, friends? So this is the second proposal in 16.4. Wonderful proposal, very thoughtful proposal. I must appreciate. Another thing, reverse charge is one of my favorites in this one. And although people say it is revenue neutral, Rajender, nothing to worry. Tax to be paid, credit to be taken, government has no worries, government has no impact. But sir, reverse charge proves fatal many times when 16.4 comes into play. Now people used to ask me, 65 audit is going on. The department is asking me to pay tax under reverse charge. It is left out for 18, 19, 17, 18. Now I like to pay that, but would I be able to have input tax credit? Department says no. I said, yes, sir, 16.4 applies to that also. But I always used to differentiate between two things. Reverse charge is to be paid under section 9(3), read with notification 13/17 CTR and 4/17 CTR. Although the IGST 10/17 CTR IGST also is there, but that is verbatim copy of 13/17 CTR. other than one item, that is first entry. Of course, I cannot go into those such details in such manner. So the reverse charge is to be paid under 9(3) read with notification 4 and 13 by 17 CTR. Now, there are two situations when reverse charge is to be paid. Their first scenario, there could be a registered supplier who supplies goods or services to me and raises an invoice, and I pay tax under reverse charge. Another scenario, there is unregistered supplier who provides goods or services to me, supplies goods or services to me, and he is unregistered, he does not raise the invoice, and under section 31(3)(f), it is my responsibility to generate the self-invoice. And on the basis of that self-invoicing, I take the credit. Now, I always used to say, in case where the registered person is raising an invoice to you and you have to pay self-invoicing, RCM in that scenario paid later, 2-3 years later from the date of event and taken credit would be difficult to avail in case of first scenario. But in case of second scenario, I always used to say that self-invoicing is made today. And this is an invoice of today's date. And this invoice shall fall within this particular financial year and would fall into the clutches of 16(4) only when. And it would relate to this financial year and would be having the time limit of 16(4) next. Like whatever September or November, whatever the year. Year to which time pertains to. The same thing government came out. It says if you have to raise a self-invoice, sometimes you have to blow your own trumpet also, sir. Otherwise, it is very difficult. Everybody may not be knowing. But yes, with Bajrangbali's Kripa, we have been saying this at the top of our voice that this credit can be available. It is disputed, but we can win this. And the government itself came out with it. Although litigation is our bread and butter, but yes, as a prudent, as a responsible citizen, I also like not to have litigation for people. People suffer. Although people like us who are litigators earn out of the litigation, but normal people suffer, the business suffer, and through business, their stakeholders suffer. So I really do not feel much, but because it is my profession, I have to go into it. But otherwise, as an individual citizen, as a responsible citizen of the country, I also do not like to have litigation in the country. So if you raise invoice today of the previous years also, you can take credit. But what word of caution? I'll not be detailing out what I'm going to say, that here the problem would be of time of supply. And it may require you to pay interest. I'm not detailing out some things to be kept for next programs also. Okay. Now this is what about 16(4), 3 items for 16(4), which we have understood. GSTR 4, next proposal, is about the composition suppliers. For 2024-25, the time limit to pay tax, file GSTR 4 was 30th April. They have extended to 30th June. Only for 24-25, and of course it is written onwards. So maybe for succeeding years also, we have to see the exact notification. Another, I would say, the welcome change is with respect to Rule 88B. This change also is brought on the basis of a jurisprudence, a judicial decision by way of, in case of Eicher Motors, Honorable Madras High Court. In case of Eicher Motors, Honorable Madras High Court said if the tax is deposited in the cash ledger, the interest will not levy. In this judgment, one very interesting thing I would like to tell you. In this case, the advocates from the applicant's side filed a right to information RTI with the Ministry of Finance and asked them that kindly tell us how do you determine the Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can write in the chat box. Thank you. So the government, the advocates from the applicant side asked from the government finance ministry that tell us the methodology. How do you determine the amount of tax collected, the revenue which you release every month, that this much collected from the GST? How do you determine it? They replied that whatever is deposited in the cash ledger, that is considered as revenue of the government. So in a way, the matter is already largely proved by that reply of that RTI itself. And the applicant is also saying that whatever I have deposited in the cash ledger belongs to the government. The government says, the law says, no, till the time you do not file 3B, tax does not belong to us. But explanation 2 to section 43 tells us that the moment it is debited, it is deposited to the exchequer, the treasury of the government, the consolidated fund of India. So with this, the Honorable Madras High Court decided that interest shall not be. On the basis of the same issue, the government also now said the proposal for amending the rule 88B, it shall be amended through notification only. CGST amendment rules will come, wherein they propose that if you have deposited the tax in the cash ledger and you have not filed the 3B, full tax is not deposited. Whatever amount is deposited in the cash ledger, the interest shall not levy on that portion, and interest shall levy on the remaining portion only. It is again a welcome, very good step. Another thing which is about, there is one proposal to bring a new section 11, insertion of new section 11 capital A, which is going to talk about that if although the section 11 talks about the exemption, for section 11A, what the press release says, that if a taxpayer has short paid the tax, short collected the tax, collected but not paid the tax, not levied the tax at all, like the rate of tax was 18% and you started charging 12% only, the government, on the recommendation of the council, can allow to regularize that not levied, not collected, short paid, short collected. For example, there are classification disputes in the market. Paratha, they say it is 12%, the department say. Otherwise, the taxpayers community say it is 5%. People may be charging 5%. Now, if something comes out situation like this, that tax is charged at 5% industry-wise, now you cannot penalize, you cannot kill the entire industry. In order to regularize it, the government has assumed power by way of inserting a new section that yes, if something of this sort comes tomorrow, we can regularize them. Not to worry. So this is again a very, I would say, a welcome step, important, interesting step. Okay, now next change. Sir, keep the questions for the question and answer session. Just we are now not many proposals now are pending with us. We are going to see next 15 days we will be closing it. 15 minutes, I beg your pardon. 15 minutes we will be closing it. Because majority of other proposals are going to come out with these circulars, and we do not know the exact nature of the proposals which are going to be there. Another thing which is proposed is with respect to import of services by a related person where recipient is eligible to full input tax. This is again a disputed area. Now, I have been using the trademark or the logo of my foreign parent company here in India. The government says, the taxman says that this is an import of service. I have not paid it. I have not paid and taken the credit. Now, because these are the related parties, and related parties do not value according to sections 15, but through the valuation rules, specifically rule 28 applies to them. They are going to come out with a proposal where if the recipient, like an Indian entity, is eligible for the full credit, value can be nil also. They are also again going to regularize this problem. If you have imported certain services for which consideration is not paid to the foreign parent, then you do not need to pay the RCM at all. Similarly, in case of corporate guarantees, bank guarantees given by the related persons for their subsidiaries or holding companies, or the directors for their companies, again they are going to come out with a circular. And again, if you are eligible for the full input tax credit, then there would be a relief. Even the value may be considered to be nil. So this is a genuine difficulty, genuine hardship which was being faced by the corporates in case of corporate guarantees given by their holding and subsidiary or directors. So these were the proposals with respect to this. Next in line, you are going to see at least 20 different circulars. This press release is for 7 pages only, but you will find at least 500 pager material, total 500 pager material to actually implement this 7 pager material. At least 500 pages are going to be released in next 10 to 15 days, which I visualize. So this is what that these are the circulars. Around 20 circulars are going, and amendment rules are going to come, wherein at least 20 to 15 to 20 rules are going to be amended once again. Okay, another thing which came out, we have always been asking for the revision of the 3B return, but they have not provided yet for the revision of the 3B return. But they have proposed to provide the revision of the statement of outward supplies, that is GSTR1. I think that also serves very important purpose, especially in these days. If you have reported wrongly a supply in GSTR1, you have to compulsorily report that supply in 3B. If you do not report that supply in 3B, if you report it, you have to pay extra tax because that supply is actually not been executed. You have mistakenly reported excess supply in 1. Now you have to compulsorily report in 3B, one option, or you miss out on reporting 3B. The moment you miss out on reporting 3B, in automatic comparison between 1 and 3B is done by the system. And within next 24 hours, the system generates form DRC 01B. And this is a very, I would say, the most dangerous form, the most dangerous activity which is initiated by issuance of form DRC 01B. And that is, if there is a difference between 1 and 3B, section 75, subsection 12 triggers, which talks about that in order to recover the self-assessed liability, no show cause, no opportunity of being heard is to be given. Direct recovery under section 79 can be initiated. Your bank account can be attached. And this is the situation where 1 is reported more and 3B reported less. And DRC 01B is issued. If you do not reply it properly, DRC 01B, then it is a difficulty, then it is a problem. In that situation, your next one is blocked. Your bank account is attached and money is taken away by the government. Therefore, the government is given you a facility. If you have reported, for example, for the month of June, you are going to file your GSTR1 by 11th of July, and you mistakenly filed some extra figure. So between the period of 11 to 20 of 3B filing, you can amend your one by way of GSTR1A and correct the GSTR1 figure, and then the corrected figure shall be auto-populated in GSTR3B, and you will be saved from the menace of the wreck of DRC01B. So it is a welcome step, but yes, the relief which we were seeking for is not exactly the relief which is being provided, but still, relief is relief. Relief is relief. Okay. Moving ahead, last 2-3 proposals I am going to discuss with you now. Another thing which my chairman was telling us, Vakharia sir, about the DRC03. Friends, if a DRC03 is already paid, on system that DRC03 is now done away. The amount of tax, interest or penalty or fee which is paid through that DRC03, nobody can touch it now. There is only one process, that 04 is to be issued. The department has to acknowledge, acceptance of acknowledgement by way of DRC04. 99% department is not issuing that DRC04. Now, that DRC04 once paid is gone. You can go to the court. Court may direct the GSTN or the jurisdictional officer, if your amount is not due and you have got this deposited through DRC03, get it refunded to the taxpayer. That is possible. But otherwise, normally, by and large, 99% cases, you once paid, it is gone. You cannot adjust it because that DRC itself takes the debit entry in your cash or credit ledger. Now the facility is going to come on the portal that if you have paid a DRC03 with respect to a particular demand for a particular financial year, while filing the appeal, you can adjust that DRC03 which is already paid for a particular financial year against the deposit of the pre-deposit, against the payment of the pre-deposit. That is again a welcome step, because many times we find that DRC03 is filed, it is gone. Now who will go to the higher authorities and get it adjusted somewhere? Like in case of TDS, TDS is supposed to be deposited for financial year 24-25, paid for 23-24. Now you can go and ask for the adjustment of that TDS which is paid. Here there was no adjustment available for DRC03, once paid, gone. Welcome step. Another proposal which is there, that for 73-74 notices, dates are different. Like in case of 73, 3 years from the due date of filing of annual return, and 3 months before the 3 years conclusion time, the notice is to be issued. And similarly, 5 years and 6 months time is there for the issue of notice. Now these two dates are going to be merged, and again they are willing to have a new insertion of a new section 74A. I don't know what is the purpose, but yes, but let's see how does it come. The notice time limit for issuance under section 73, one where there is no fraud case, and 74 where there is a fraud case, same time limit. I don't know who is going to get better. 73 is going to get better, or 74 is going to get better, or 73 is going to get worse. And I don't know what is going to happen. So we'll see in times to come. Okay. Rest now, I'm not going in. There is one more proposal for anti-profiteering. So the 1/4/24 is the last date to receive any complaint under anti-profiteering. I'm not going into those details. Another one proposal which feels that is by and large applicable to the taxpayers across the board is that when you file your GSTR1, you report B2C transaction. In table 5 of GSTR1, the B2C transaction, if an invoice of 2.5 lakh is there, you have to separately report it. You cannot club it. Now that limit is going to be reduced. That is going to be reduced from 2.5 to 1 lakh. If a invoice is for 1 lakh or above, you have to separately report the name and address and the state of that particular person who has bought that material from you, B2C. Okay, that's it. These are the proposals which are recommended by the council. Almost all the proposals I have taken with you, and maybe now some or the other, if you have some any doubt in the implementation of the proposals what we just discussed, now we can open for the question answer session.
Friends, our words may not be capable to communicate our sense of gratitude for such an informative and a very knowledgeable lecture in a very simple language. Thank you, sir. Now I request our immediate past president, CA Rajender Arora, sir, to take a charge of question answer session. Over to you, sir.
Good evening. Namaskar, sir. Before going to questions raised by the participant, I am happy to share that as an association, we many times raised these issues before CGST, SGST officers up to North Block. Even in September 2022, we meet Honorable Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman Madam, and insisted for an amnesty scheme for the genuine taxpayers who missed the opportunities or made some unintentional errors while complying with the law. And you seen that most of the recommendations by the GST Council are favorable for the genuine taxpayers. I am very much hopeful that after notification, we will get the clear idea about the recommendations and what we really get from this. But we are really hopeful for that. Now we will move to the questions raised by the participants. Good. One question by CA Ajay Kumar Jain sir. Tax can be paid through DRC 0. It is related to DRC 07. Tax can be paid through ITC. Is it available, sir?
Yes, sir. You can do so. There is no restriction.
Okay, sir. What if the tax paid against SCN and demand notice is only for the interest and penalty?
So it will be waived. No issues. You have already paid the tax. They only ask you to pay the tax by 31st March 25. If you have already paid the tax before the amnesty and only interest and penalty is due, you will fall into it.
Yes. Sir, for the year 2021, RCM tax is not paid on GTA in GSTR 3B. Now, can I pay RCM tax in June 24 in GSTR 3B and claim the RCM input tax in June 24?
Yes, you can do so. Just I would suggest you wait for the time when this exact scheme comes out. Within next 10-15 days, it will come out. So You just go through with the scheme first, and then you may be able to take this credit.
Okay, sir. Mr. Mahesh Deshmukh, she asked, in our case, for FY 18-19, DRC 07 is issued. Only interest demand is there due to the time of supply issue. Tax demand is not there in DRC 07. I have filed an appeal against the said order. What is the situation in relation to the section 128A? Can we get benefit or not?
It would be difficult for you, sir, because there was no tax at all. It was only merely interest. So let us see, because they have said the tax is paid. If there is no tax due to be paid at all, either before or after the scheme, then whether it is purely for interest and penalty also,
Yes, I think
it needs to be seen through the scheme.
yes. We have to wait for the notification. For more
Yeah, this is an interesting situation.
Yeah.
G.
Just a minute. I think questions. There are a few more questions from the online participant. Order is passed under section 65 and disallowed due to not uploaded the bills and not displayed in 2A for the year 17-18. But before the issue of circular 183, we have paid the tax and filed DRC 03. Order is passed 2 years back. Now, can we file the rectification of the order allowing the claim of input tax credit? I think not possible. So
3 months is already passed, so you cannot file the rectification.
Yes.
Not even appeal. Go to the extra jurisdictional powers under Article 226.
Sir, please explain in short about DRC 1, section 16.4, contravention of the provision of the CGST, ITC availment. I think you have covered, sir. In our case, we have taken the building on rent and started hostel. What is the position after this council meeting?
Yeah, you will be provided with the facility. You will be exempted. Now, the rental GST on rentals would be your cost.
For the year 17-18 to 2019-20, if credit or cash ledger nil, but use wrong ITC, after demand, it has been paid. There is also interest and penalty not liable to pay. If it is under section 70, yes. Yes. Next. Sir, order is passed denying ITC under section 16.4. Now the case is covered under the present recommendation. Whether we have to file an appeal or any rectification will be available.
If you still have time, 3 months time, you should file immediately the rectification. But for filing appeal, you require to pay a pre-deposit. You need to be careful while seeing that whether the time limit is not passed for filing appeal even. So if for next you have some time, next 10-15 days you have before the last date for the filing of appeal, then you should wait. The scheme comes, and then exactly the nature of the scheme, the nature of amnesty, who will be covering, who will not be covering, will immediately come through. To my humble view, majority, all of us, all the situations would be covering into the proposal.
Yes. Only borderline cases which time limit is expiring, they need to file an appeal as a precautionary measure.
Yes, as a precautionary measure, you may file an appeal.
Yes. DRC 07 is passed for 2018-19 for GSTR 3B filed late by the dealer. So ITC is disallowed. Will Amnesty will help this issue? So I think we have to wait again for the notification.
Interest and penalty would again be waived. You pay tax, nothing more than that.
If anyone want to ask the specific question, kindly put it in the chat box.
Shivani, she's asking whether upward revision or downward revision will be allowed in GSTR 1A. Both revisions would be allowed, whether upward or downward.
Order in DRC 07 for 18-19 pass. Appeal is not filed. Now, what would be the procedure for availing the benefit? Is it necessary to apply for the rectification?
Yashveer Singh Arora, again same, asking what chairman sir asked. Interest already paid under section 73, refund will be available. No sir. Now I'll get one certificate issued from chairman sir, no refund shall be available, and distributed in the society.
Yes. Again, the interest penalty, no refund is available. Already sir explained that. So I think most of the questions are covered. Sir, thank you very much for your in-depth analysis of the recommendations.
Thank you, President sir.
Now I hand over the charge to our secretary, Naneshwar.
Sir, once a president, always a president. So do not feel that way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think we have addressed all the important queries raised by our participants. If anything remain, we will share that question to our faculty, and then we'll provide the resolution to the respective participant. Now, I request our today's session chairman, Anil Vakharia sir, to share his concluding thoughts. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Rajender sir, I should thank you first of all for explaining in a very simple language and lucid manner all the proposals which have been recommended by the GST Council. You are a real speaker, sir, because whatever I had asked you in the opening remarks that you should highlight these points, you have noted it down and you have specifically highlighted those points and explained it in a very well manner. You have also explained that what is the purpose behind all these proposals or amendments, including the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana and all the infrastructure developments which are going to help to our economy. So it is necessary for the professionals also to know all these things. You have also explained that regarding hostel accommodation, I think now that has been enlarged, the scope has been enlarged not only to the educational institutions, but also to the other private hostels, wherein particularly, sir, here in Pune, we are having a lot of cases of hospitals also, where the nurses or doctors are staying in the hostels provided by those hospitals. I think now they will get a big relief. But as we always say that let us wait for the notifications or the actual proposals. But from the highlights, I could make it out that definitely it will be extended to the other than educational institutions. That is the purpose behind bringing these proposals. Also, there will be a boost to the insurance sector. I don't know from where you have brought the statistics that only 8% people are insured here. So that definitely this is going to give a big booster to the insurance sector. Regarding Section 73 or 74, you have explained it very nicely. I would only like to add that even our professionals should argue the matter, because here what is happening, sir? The CGST department particularly, they are issuing all the notices under Section 74, though the matter is not related to any fraud or concealment or anything. So basically, our professionals should understand to argue the matter first that this is not the case which is covered under Section 74, but it is covered under Section 73. This is very important. You have rightly guided that, yes, only change of opinion cannot take the case from Section 73 to 74. But it is necessary that the professionals should also start arguing this matter, or only then the government will issue certain guidelines that under which circumstances the notices should be issued under Section 73 and under which circumstances it will be covered under Section 72. Of course, as Section 74A is going to come, as I think you have said that, let us see what is coming out of that. Further, regarding Section 16(4), you have explained it very nicely, and retrospectively it was expected, and definitely it is going to come from these proposals. So that is a welcome provision. Regarding RCM also, sir, I have personally had one case wherein I had prepared the self-invoices for 17-18 in 23-24, and I have submitted and I have claimed. And you have very rightly pointed out that the issue will only come about the interest. But in my case, I was very lucky that the officer forgot about levying the interest. Further, again, you have already spoken about the amount paid in cash ledger, which is again a welcome provision. Regarding this insertion of new Section 11A, I don't know, they have inserted the section, but how much they are going to bring in, because what is again common trade parlance and what is common trade practice, that who is going to decide, it is again a big question mark. But of course, at least the provision has come on the statute. Corporate guarantee cases are also pending since long time. So that is also once again a welcome provision. This 1A return which they have brought, though it is a welcome provision, I think it is a partial relief. What happens particularly when we are filing annual return in GSTR 9 or 9C audit? At that time, many times it is observed that there are certain mistakes, because it is very difficult if we file the GSTR 1 on 10th of every month and before 20th, nobody goes in for the audit and finds out the mistakes. So 1A, I don't think so it will be very much helpful, but of course, yes, wherever it is found out that there is a mistake within 10 days, then 1A will be useful. But this provision, I think, sir, earlier in VAT Act, you might be knowing that annual return or 704, the audit report, VAT audit report in Maharashtra, in Delhi, there might be some other number, but the VAT audit report was considered as the final submission of the dealer. But here, every time you have to give the reconciliation of 2A and 3B, 2A and 9. So that is becoming difficult. Instead of going month-to-month basis in the notices, they should accept the annual return, 9 or 9C and raise their queries on the basis of the annual return instead of going into the monthly returns. I think this suggestion should also go to the government, which is going to help the taxpayers at large. And lastly, there was a question from Mahesh Deshmukh that if the tax is already paid, whether interest will be waived off. I think the proposal intends that if the tax is paid before 31st March 2025, in this case also tax is already paid, so he should get the benefit of interest and penalty, but of course let the notifications come. There is one more suggestion which I would like to make is that the provision for condonation of delay in appeal should be brought in. Because now, since the tribunal is going to set up and filing the appeals in the tribunal, you are going to get time. But wherever the appeals are not filed within time or 3 months or one more excess month, that is within 4 months, the provision for condonation of delay is necessary because many a times the orders are put on the portal and it's not received by the taxpayer or his consultant, and in many cases the appeals are being delayed, and if the delay is not condoned, then it becomes difficult to get the natural justice to the taxpayer. This is all I wanted to add. Thank you very much. Again, I would also like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity and being associated with my younger brother Rajender sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable thoughts and important inputs, which will be very important for our fraternity. Moving further, I request our Vice President, Advocate Honorable Sawan sir, to please propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening, all of you. Respected President, Advocate Prasad Deshpande sir, Study Circle Chairman Manikar Bora sir, Session Chairman Anil Vakharia sir, IPP CA Sripat Vedankar sir, Secretary Mr. Dhaneshwar Arora sir. Today's faculty from Delhi on Zoom platform, CA Rajender Arora sir. Galaxy of past president, senior members, past president, office bearers of all association and my dear friends. As we come to the end of this fruitful study circle meeting, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude on behalf of the Maharashtra Tax Practitioner Association. I sincerely thank each and every one of you for being here and actively participating. We feel incredibly fortunate to be a part of such a passionate and knowledgeable community. Your insightful contribution, thoughtful questions, and willingness to share your expertise have made today's discussion truly enriching and have deepened our understanding of the subject. A special word of appreciation goes to respected Session Chairman Anil Vakharia sir and today's study circle faculty CA Rajender Arora sir, and whose guidance has been invaluable throughout his learning journey. The study circle committee worked tirelessly to ensure the smooth functioning of the study circle meeting. They promote planning and attend played a significant role in making this gathering of resounding success. Lastly, I want to extend a special thank you to all of our fellow members who actively participated and made this study circle an interactive and engaging experience. Once again, thank you all of being a part of this incredible study circle meeting. Your presence and support are deeply appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. With the permission of the President, I declare the study circle meeting officially concluded. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, the organizers, the President, Vakharia sir, everybody for giving me this opportunity.